slavery left a deep wound in all of us. And when you see us coming, it's because we're trying to heal that wound that was placed.
I try to understand why I am here. I want to leave. And you are coming back. You want to stay.
You want to go out. You want to take your kids to the park to play. But when you do, other kids spit at them.
Their presence is actually creating a problem for us economically.
Now, the white Americans, their governments, and their policies, and what they did, all their atrocities and all that, they caused a lot of chaos. They caused a lot of problems. Many problems and a lot of things that are happening to us, they were caused by the white people. And maybe if everything would never have happened, if colonization would never have happened, if transatlantic slave trade would never have happened, maybe the problems, the confusion that we're experiencing right now in this world, especially amongst the black community, would never be there. I was walking around. I came across a video from the DW channel. The DW, I'm suggesting you just walk around, go and watch. They have a very good content and a very nice content. The DW are doing a very good job. And I came across this conversation from the streets of Accra, Ghana. And after watching it, you're going to realize there is some confusion and there is a lot of maybe misunderstanding or problems or misfortunes that the white community caused among us, the black community. This is a real impression of the cause of division that the white people caused among us, the black people. This is what they wanted to achieve, where they are going to actually dismantle the unity and cause chaos among us, the black people, in that the black people are not ready or will not agree on each other on some certain things and all that. That is what they wanted to achieve. To some point, I would say maybe they achieved. But now, a time has come when change has to be there. And this change is going to be caused by me, who is in Africa, a black African in Africa, and a white or a black African American who is in America. Because right now, we are seeing a lot of African Americans coming back to the land. Why are they coming back to the land? Because they want to come back home. And every one of us, this video needs to teach us, both those black people in Africa and the African Americans, that whenever we see our brothers and sisters now coming back, let us be able to find a way of understanding them and treating them better and loving them to the fullest. Because this is what we want, unity. The people out there, what they do not want is us to be united. They want our disunity. Now, when they see us having some certain misunderstanding around or amongst us, that is when now the disunity, or that is when now they are happy because they know disunity is now prevailing. They did this a long time ago. They broke the they created the boundaries, and we became many countries with different governance and all that because they wanted to easily manipulate us. Okay? Now, I came across this video. I felt like I should play this video for you so that we can be educated from it and we know what to do, or the ways forward, or how we can be able to deal with our friends, our brothers and sisters, and to tackle things and to accept the fact that these are one of us and we need to accept them, we need to understand them, and we need to take care of them and protect them, because they are now feeling safe when they're in Africa compared to how they were out there. Okay? I want you to look at this video to the end, and then I'll come back and have my thoughts shared with you at the end of it. Meanwhile, I'm going to ask you also to subscribe this channel if you've not been able to do so. And for the returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you. Now, make sure you share with me your thoughts. Until then, let's take a look at the video.
Hello and welcome back to the 77% Street Debate. This week, we are back in Ghana's capital of Accra. Now, 400 years ago, the first women, men, and children forcibly stolen from this continent arrived on the other side of the Atlantic in America. Fast forward many years later, and the government, the modern government of Ghana, is saying to its international descendants, come back home. But what does that integration look like? Began in 2019, dubbed the Year of Return, this initiative has introduced many people from across the world back into the community. And how is that affecting the makeup of this society? Who better to answer that question than some now all Ghanaians? And I want to start with you, Professor Kambon, because I think in order to understand where we are, we must look back in time. How did we end up in this situation where Africans were disjointed and disconnected from their land?
I have what I call the thousands, hundreds, and tens model. And what that is that thousands of years ago, Black people went out to populate the entire planet Earth. And then hundreds of years ago, Black people were enslaved. This goes back all the way to the Arabs, the Indian Ocean and so forth. You have the Zanj Rebellion. And then tens of years ago, you have what is often referred to as the brain drain, where, those are going out to seek greener pastures. And usually it's because their own homes have been set on fire by, IMF, World Bank policies and so forth and so on. Many of us came to the conclusion of why do we continue to build the land of our enemies? Before we were doing it, at gunpoint, at the point of the whip and so forth. But there's a proverb that says a cow grazes where it is tied. But if we're not cows, then it means we don't have to continue grazing in places when, we are no longer tied there. So for some of us, we decided to repatriate. So for me, I have repatriated to Ghana, and several of my repatriate to Ghana clients have gotten citizenship.
All right, let's talk about your repatriation for a little bit. 2008 is when you decided to move back to Ghana. What inspired this?
Specifically in 2008, I went through what a lot of Black people go through, which is a trumped up charge, racism and so forth. They don't ask you, are you a, citizen who's benefiting the community and so forth. They just say, all right, because you're Black, or really it's because they're white, right, that they behave in that way. So I decided that I was coming here to do my PhD. I did so. I'm doing pretty well. I've been installed as a traditional ruler. So this was given to me by the Nsumankwa Hene, the overall spiritual head of all of the Asante people. It's about being accepted. It's about being respected. And those are things that you don't get under Donald Trump and the divided snakes of a murderer.
Wow, those are some very strong words that you've chosen to use. And I want to come to the Bradbys here, who are a couple. And, oh gosh, the couples here are always holding hands. Well, that's great. It's so cute. But they've also just joined a union, a lifelong union with Ghana. You got your citizenship yesterday. And there's something that the professor said here, to be removed from the land of your enemy. Is this how you considered America, where you actually grew up?
We moved for our safety and our children's safety. It is unsafe in the States, no matter where you go, if you look like us. Getting out of the land of our enemy was priority number one, to make sure that no matter what we did, to build a business or to simply just live the simple life, we will be protected in that.
Nakia, is this also what you think, land of the enemy? Is this what Baltimore was to you?
For example, in Baltimore, we have the highest, a very strong crime rate in my city. And I think that is due to the fact that people are completely lost. And so all of that anger and aggression gets pushed out onto the streets, and then we're suffering. For me, even I think back when I was in school, and doing university, I remember I used to go on my phone and try to find an app to look at, to listen to radio stations in Accra, just to hear the language. And I remember one night I was just sitting there and I almost just cried, just to to know that this was taken from me.
You're shaking now as you have goosebumps everywhere. Actually.
Because my great grandmothers, these are the songs that they would sing. These are the languages that they would use, and we don't have them anymore. And it's even hard to explain, how that stealing of our identity impacts our hearts. And so when you see us celebrating, when you see us happy to be in Ghana, even though we know the conditions aren't great here, the economy is not great, but slavery left a deep wound in all of us. It left a deep wound. And when you see us coming, it's because we're trying to heal that wound that was placed.
Okay. Thank you so much for being so honest and vulnerable with us. I appreciate that. Let me speak to Mr. Kwesi here, who is the CEO of the Tourism Board, which is behind this initiative. There's a lot of pain and trauma and fear that a lot of people are escaping coming into this country. But was this your idea when you launched this initiative?
Yes and no. Yes, we knew that we had to make the connection because we've been separated for far too long and we didn't understand each other. And so, yes, the idea was let's reconnect, let's bring us together and see how we can work together, cultural exchanges, tourism, investments, and everything that makes us one people.
Okay.
But no, because we realize that it goes deeper than just a reconnection. It also for people to come and heal. Really, people trace their roots, come back to where it all began.
Okay, so you were told come back to Africa. Here you are. I want to now know, what have your experiences been? The reality versus what you might have expected. Nakia, earlier you said that the state of the economy is not great, and yet here you are. Why?
I think where Africa beats America in development is social development, in terms of how people are raised in here and having respect for your elders. I struggled a lot with my mother. My mother passed about 2 years ago. I actually was taking care of her for 5 years by myself, because I couldn't get my family to understand that we as a family should take care of my mother together. But here in Ghana, you don't have that problem. You don't even really see nursing homes, because the people understand that when your parents get older, you should take care of them. And so these are the things that I feel like that are really important for us to really focus on and see that there's a lot that the Ghanaian heart has to offer, and that we also should take hold of and to integrate and understand our place in the society.
So Adam and Chireta, you're raising two beautiful children here. How has that experience been for you, and what are some of the challenges of integrating so far?
Oh, it's really been beautiful. You know, in the States, we lived a very isolated lifestyle because of safety. You know, you want to go out, you want to take your kids to the park to play, but when you do, other kids spit at them. That is an experience that my son had at the playground on more than one occasion. And so we lived a very isolated life. So to be here and to be free and to see my kids be able to be joyful and that not be a crime has been a very, very beautiful thing.
Okay, I really love how beautiful this is sounding, and I'm just going to throw a little bit of pepe in here. Kojo, tell me, are the people who've returned romanticizing the idea of Africa a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
Tell me about that.
Well, the truth is, we are survivors here in Ghana. And the reason why it may look like it's like we want to switch places with them is because of that doggedness that the country has built inside of us. You've gone through the educational system. You've put together yourself to be on top of society, but then there's no opportunity for you to use them and put yourself in a better place in the society.
So let me ask that question, because you did talk about immigration and emigration. And actually, surprisingly, Ghana is one of those few countries in Africa where there are more people leaving the country than there are coming in. And that surprised me. So I want to know from the people at the back, anybody, if you got a chance, are you taking the plane to get out of Ghana? Let me see by show of hands if your answer is yes. When you hear these people come and say, hey, this is a beautiful country, we need to reinvest back on the continent, how does that make you feel?
I feel it's because they have money. That's why they're coming back home. But for me, I want to leave the country because the economy here is very bad.
Okay. Let me hear one more person at the back.
I would love to leave the country. Like, just as they are saying, when they were coming, they came with money, which is making their life comfortable. But we in the country, people are struggling on the street. If such person get opportunity, in fact, the person will leave the country.
Mm-hmm. Prof, what do you make of it when you hear that the local population here already has an assumption that you're wealthier, that there's an income disparity inbuilt?
So about 3 weeks ago, I gave a presentation on how you can earn $250,000 and 10x your income by living in Ghana. And a case study is I had translators coming from the University of Ghana at a conference that I just had. And we hired them to teach Chi. They had 2 students. From the 2 students who were paying them, they were able to get enough money to pay their entire master's degree for 1 year. Generally, people think, oh, what can I do at this language? But I'm saying that you don't have to go outside. And that was a message that they learned. There's someone in the world who wants any skill that you know how to do, and they're willing to pay you richly to do it.
Let me ask Jeff what he thinks here, because he is swallowing hard. I don't know if you think this is great advice or if you see it as somewhat condescending. What are your views?
Yes, I think what Prof is saying is quite true. Now, I heard my sister from behind me say that these people have money coming in. Yes, they may think that what they have is not enough for them as they come in here. But from the ordinary person on the streets of Accra, let's say Oxford Street, you see, If I want to walk on Oxford Street and buy what Prof is wearing, I can walk there and buy it. But can you imagine getting to Oxford Street and there's a vendor selling this thing, Prof standing there? The moment the person realizes Prof is coming from outside, his donation, the person prices this thing very high. So it brings a certain gap. But at the end of the day, once the prices go up, it doesn't come down. And we are the ones who suffer eventually. And that is a problem we are facing here today. Their presence is actually creating a problem for us economically.
But I want to come back to you, Mr. Kwesi, because obviously these emotional sentiments have the potential to become something else. Xenophobia, Afrophobia. Are you just telling people come in, or are you putting in place strategies so that integration is sustainable and seamless?
In terms of the expectations from both sides, when we started a year of return and we started our first December in GH, the prices of goods in December more than quadrupled because people thought, hey, this is a year of return, we have an opportunity, let's milk it. It happens everywhere. When you go to the Olympic Games, prices of everything goes up. Yeah. But then we had to meet with people at the art center, with the tour operators, with hotels to explain to them that we are in this for the long term, that this is not just an open window for you to cash in. So it's something that we are building, but it's not going to take a day. The cultures are different, so let's try and work ourselves to integrate. So when I talk about cultural integration, it's also looking at how do we make sure that people understand what we are doing and they are not taking advantage of our brothers and sisters who are coming back.
Yeah, Jennifer, because you're the latest arrival, if I could call you that, do you feel that because of your accent, sometimes people want to take advantage of you?
I would say that sometimes that is true, but it's not just true for African Americans. I think it's true for anyone that has an American or UK accent, even if they're Ghanaian. When we're talking about Ghana, Ghana is a country that has a population of over 30 million people. There are maybe 10,000 African Americans. We're an extreme minority. So I think that sometimes we're used as a scapegoat, and that is misplaced.
Do you feel this because I know that you run your own business and setting it up, was it easy for you?
If you are Ghanaian, you can set up the business for like 1,000 to 2,000 cedis. But if you are coming from outside, they're telling him, bring in $500,000. Now we'll set up, you can set up a business as the sole, owner. That is not, very easy, for anyone. If we're not having a very deep analysis of what's going on, they play black people against other black people. So just to the point, we need to understand that we're all black people and we have very common genotype, common phenotype, and a common thrust for survival that we need to have, as opposed to divide and conquer. Let's play those Asantes against the Fantes, Bloods versus Crips. They do it every single place.
Okay, but what I'm hearing is that black we may be, but our bank accounts surely are not the same. Let me find out from Jeff how he feels hearing all these sentiments, because these are now your countrymen and women. Are you aligned with their values?
We are happy they are here, and would wish that we can coexist with them without having any problem whatsoever. If we see our brothers and sisters, irrespective of even the color, even if it's a white person coming to buy something, let the pricing be as it is. You understand? And maybe governments and the state agencies need to establish some kind of price control regimes so that everywhere you go, the prices will be the same, so that it doesn't come to the point where I see you pay the way you speak or pay your color, then I price the thing to suit myself, just because I want to make some extra profit. That is stealing, and it's very bad.
So obviously one way to do this is what Mr. Kwesi here suggested, cultural integration. And I just want to hear from the people at the back. How many people have made friends with returnees, people from the diaspora? Are you integrating with them in your communities? Let me hear from some people. Yes or no? Yeah.
Where I used to work, which is a beauty salon, a lot of the diasporans do come. What I try to do is I tell them, okay, if you want to buy this, when you get to the market and then they give you a higher price, maybe the thing is priced 100 cedis, slash it to like 50 cedis. So I try to give them tips.
All right. Could you?
Yeah, us Ghanaians get the exposure when we integrate with the diaspora. It opens our eyes. It generally gives us access to so many things, to see that our skill sets can play on the global scale, and then we can. Let me tell you the truth. The Ghanaian dream is that we can earn first world money while we're still here. That's the Ghanaian dream. Okay. So once the diasporans integrate with us and we are exposed to that, we don't want to go anywhere, because we don't want to go and pay all the 40% taxes and all of that.
Okay, you wanted to say something to me earlier.
I just wanted to touch on the pricing of things. Being new here, we're here for just over a year now. We try to shop in our neighborhood, and because we are new and because we don't speak the language that well yet. We're learning, but the prices get hiked up. And so then we are forced to go somewhere else to spend our money. And we would prefer to spend it in our neighborhood, but they're hiking the price up because we're new, they don't know us yet. But it makes it harder for us when that happens to us. Yeah. It's unfair.
Okay.
But can I say something? Yeah, sure. You know, you got to really understand culture to understand people. You know, when you come to Ghana.
But people is culture.
Yes, but when you come to Ghana, chopping is part of the culture. Yep. You just have to.
Like chop my
no, not just chopping. Like whether they chop their family, they chop their friends. It's just a way. Whether the government is chopping the resources, it's part of the culture. So if we want to see change, then we also got to influence culture. We got to go in there and then make something like chopping repulsive, like saying it's stealing. You understand? Now, if I say a government official that chopped resources that should have went here and he took it and reappropriated for something else, then he stole the money. See, now, if we say that instead of say he chopped the money, then at that point he don't want to be a thief. So then he changed his behavior and his action. So it's important for us to start to look at culture and then influence culture in a way where we can bridge the difference and then we can progress as one.
And one of the best and fastest ways to influence culture is through marriage. Our bride-to-be here. Talk to me about how you arrive in Ghana hoping to be here for 2 weeks and then you're about to get married.
Actually, I felt a spiritual calling to come to Ghana. I was in Tanzania at the time. And I had a friend who was here, and I was like, I'm coming to do a poetry and photography book, and I need a partner. Can you connect me with a reliable man who can assist me? And that reliable man became my soon-to-be husband.
Reliable.
We have a daughter together. I gave birth here in Ghana, and that's also a thing. Like, when I gave birth here, people were like, why didn't you go back to the U.S. to give birth? And I'm like, this is an ancestral moment for me. In my lineage, I'm the first in my family to come back. The first in my whole lineage. Even when I went back home, they were asking me questions about Africa. None of them have ever come, have even decided to live. And now I have my brother and my sister are coming. I got my auntie and cousin coming. Now their minds are also opening up as well. When you think about going to the U.S., you don't realize if you go there, you give birth, who is helping you? Everybody is working. You won't get your auntie to come and help you with the baby. So these are parts of the culture that they have here that are so beautiful, and I think we should continue to uphold. And I'm happy definitely to be marrying my Ghanaian husband in January.
Congratulations. And you have obviously gone up the ranks and you're now a proper chief, you said. So how did that come about? I mean, you're completely immersed in the culture now.
So I would say the language is key. When I first came in 2008 to repatriate for good, I first came in 98, to Ghana. But when I came to repatriate, I was going to look at houses. And the agent, I was speaking Chi to the agent because I had already learned Chi. I'm teaching Chi at the university now. But the guy who was the caretaker, he didn't know that I spoke Chi. So he just decided, he sees me and he decides he's going to speak English. So I heard him turn to the agent and say, ne boy say now, so you be catching and say ne boy say now for the men women na ya chisikano, saying that the real price is
First of all, how is his accent? Is he good? Yeah.
I'm saying it just like how the agent said it. They know this voice. That's the scheming voice.
Can you translate for us, please?
He said that the price is this, but the price is this. We're gonna tell him the price is this, and then me and you were gonna chop the money half. So I heard everything that the guy said, but I go through the whole house. And as I'm leaving, I said, okay, it's very nice. As I'm leaving, I said, now, Karachi, put your throw down. And the agent said, man, can't you know, say on Chichi? Man, can't you know, say on Chichi? So he said, I didn't tell you he doesn't speak Chi. But, for there, it really went into how once I know the language, it has a very major impact, even in terms of how much they can chop me. Because sometimes I'll just talk, normal. Like I'm just speaking with my regular accent in English, but then I'll switch to impeccable Chi, where I'm saying the numbers in Chi, because a lot of Ghanaians, they don't, once they go to numbers, no. But I start doing it, and then they're like, wow.
Okay, so we now know that Professor is also a comedian. It's good to know. Let me hear some thoughts before we come to some closing remarks, please.
I think basically what we two are battling with
is the narratives. The narratives that are painted to them about us and the narratives that are painted about them to us. So they are painted to us as rich people. They live their luxury, they are bougie and all that. And then we are painted to them as peaceful people. Life is not all that expensive. So they come here expecting the expense not to be as high as it is at where they are, but they come here and it is another thing. Okay. And we are wanting to go to where they are because we feel we are going to be comfortable, very comfortable. We're also going to live in the luxury, and we go there and sorry, it's not. So I think if we should work on the narratives of how we paint each other, it's going to help. So when they make us understand that apart from the luxury that we see, there is the emotional pain, they don't paint to us, but it is what it is. Then we also tell them, okay, when you come to our side, these and this is what you are going to face because of where you are also coming from.
So talking about the language, I read Bible in church the last time and I decided to read in Chi and everybody was clapping. I didn't know why Chi should be something I read and you are clapping. You are happy that I read Chi for the first time because Chi is my language.
Okay. So language, coming back to language. I need to close this because we're running out of time. But what do you think it's going to take from everybody here to stop saying them, the diasporans, the Ghanaians, into we, the Ghanaians?
Thinking about Marcus Messiah Garvey and being a Pan-Africanist and seeing all of us as an us, as a we, and stop separating it. To think that us coming from the diaspora did not have to survive it's a little disheartening to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because we are killed in the streets daily. You know, for nothing, simple traffic stops. And so I think we just all have to decide that we are all the same.
Okay.
I feel like comparison, they say, is the thief of joy. They were talking about the USD that apparently have, I'm not coming with a 401k or a pension or a successful business or a retirement. Thank you. I'm not coming with a successful business. I'm a monk. I don't know business very well. I actually have neighbors who are finally helping me get my stuff together. But we've been insulted by Ghanaians and diasporans alike because we don't have money. We didn't come here to make money stretch. We came to contribute. Yeah. So the amount of money that you guys think we have, at least us two,
we don't.
We do not have. And if you look like me and you have the accent you have, they aren't going to help you. They aren't going to give you any money. It is best to stay here, do what Professor said, and make something of your own. Because the talent here.
Okay, but what about people who go out and make it and make some things of themselves?
That's a very small percentage. And of course they're going to show you that on television. That's a very small percentage. And of course that's what they're going to show you.
All right.
But like she said, you go there, it is not as cushy as you think. Great, you get a fancy job before you get the police gun you down before you even make the money. That is a reality.
Or the job doesn't make ends meet. So you're having to do all these crazy other things just to make the ends meet.
All right.
That's why there's Uber and Instacart, because people work 9 to 5 jobs and they get off and now they have to go deliver pizza.
Okay. So because of the interest of time, I just want to close with Prof because we started with you. Answer the question for me. How do we go from them, the diasporans, the Ghanaians, to we?
I think conversations like these are very much necessary because just as was mentioned by my sister here, they get a narrative about those in the diaspora. And even Ghanaians, when they go travel to places like the U.S., they're told, don't hang out with the black people because they're all drug dealers, because they're all gangbangers, because they're all this, that. And, you know, they'll say, oh, Africans are all poor. You'll see the images of the Ethiopians with flowers on their face. So if you want to fight, call someone an African, and that's considered to be an insult. What it means is that we're really not having conversations and dialogues. In whose interest, who benefits from you thinking this about diasporans, and who benefits from diasporans thinking this about you? And once we understand who benefits, is basically follow the money trail. The one who benefits from the problem is most likely the one who caused the problem in the first place. So there's a quote, and I think this is very poignant to perhaps close on, by Nana Runoko Rashidi and also Nana Kwame David Whitaker. He says, what we do for ourselves depends on what we think of ourselves. What we think of ourselves depends on what we know of ourselves. And what we know of ourselves depends on what we have been told, as to say, about ourselves. And we haven't been told very much about ourselves. Ghanaians haven't been told very much about our own history as Ghanaians. Diasporans also haven't been told. But again, look at not who suffers from the problem, look at who benefits from the problem, and you'll see the one who created the problem, and we're the ones who can solve that problem.
Wow, thank you so much. Yeah. So There are a lot of things that this debate was not. It was not about confirming whether or not the people who've returned are African. That was never in question. They were, always have been, and always will be. This debate actually affirmed the words of Kwame Nkrumah right there, the doctor. He is not African simply because he was born here, but to be African is to have Africa born in you. Thank you for watching.